Now, gasps the stag between short breaths. Jump ashore, go. I can't climb out over these rocks. I stick out a hand and grab the nearest rocky crag, the others firmly round the cub's neck. With a sickening lurch, I'm jerked free of the stag, my legs trailing in the water. I yank the sopping wolf cub out after me. He's heavy and warm, his jaws snapping and legs wriggling while the general scuttles along my arm and onto the rock. There, now, that wasn't so difficult after all, was it? He says. The stag sweeps on past us into the shadows, but I can't look. Biting my lip in concentration, I feel my way towards the shore, pulling the wolf cub along after me. His fur seems to have absorbed half the fish road, and it's like trying to drag a sack of bricks. As I haul us onto the safety of the grass, he shakes himself dry, showering me with wolf-smelling water. Never help me again, he snaps. I don't need your help. Come on, help me then. We have to save them. We run along the bank. Up ahead I can see the stag stumbling in the tall rushes, his horns silhouetted against the evening light. Polly's cries are getting further and further away, and in the distance the faint roar grows louder. Quick, follow the fish road, I yell. The stag and wolf cub bound along the bank, with me following as fast as I can. After several minutes of jumping over small ditches and streams, I stop heaving for breath as they skid to a halt ahead of me. The cub is staring out into the pitch black. Look, he says. I can't see anything. You might not be able to hear them either. I can. I have the sharpest hearing in the world. The stag's voice comes out of the darkness. They're there, but they're moving fast. I can't see them, but I can smell them. You must hurry. The roaring noise sounds very close now, a bubbling commotion filling our heads, making it hard to hear, hard to even think clearly. We race after them until we run out of bank. Because we are no longer just on the edge of a fish road, but something much bigger. The black water has turned white, churning and foaming like it's boiling up before dropping far, far away below into nothing. The fish road seems to stop mid-air like an unfinished liquid bridge before tumbling down and down in a glowing curtain of mist. A white force, says White Wolf Cub in awe. They're heading straight for a whiter force. I strain my eyes, scanning upstream until I can just make out a tiny tip of white coasting along the water on top of the black bob. We are moments ahead of them, but only moments. Kester, help me, Polly calls out across the water. I wish I could shout out to her to hold on. I wish. She just has to believe that I am saying it deep down inside, because I am. I wade out into the fish road, the stag and wolf cubs splashing in behind me, until the water comes up to my waist. But I can feel the bottom beginning to fall away sharply beneath us. Polly calls out as they start to spin faster and faster towards the edge. Help me, you have to help us. I rest one hand on the stag's broad chest and feel the steady thump of his heart as the wind blows right through us. Ask the fish road, he yells over the roar of the whiter falls. Ask the fish road to help you. I don't understand, I shout back. Do not give up, Kester, you have a voice. Call to the fish road for help. The wolf cub takes my hand between his jaws and yanks it under the water. What are you doing? He glowers at me. Ask them. You must ask them. We cannot ask for help to save a human, but you can. You have the voice that can command all creatures. You have to believe in it. The voice that command all creatures. I had a gift if there was any left to call, if I knew how to call. Help, I cry out. I can't do anything more to stop this on my own. Please, if there is anyone there who can save a girl and a cat from the whiter falls, show yourself now. The water drags Polly right to the edge, spinning her round and round as if she was only a piece of rubbish. She lunges out, grabbing one of the branches wedged between the rocks, trying to stop her and the cat going over the edge. I close my eyes and I hear something. Not water roaring, not the wind, but a rushing, slithering sound speeding through the water. A rushing sound followed by a voice, and then voices. Not voices like the animals with me on land or the birds in the sky. This is more like a chanting, an underwater chant. Mmm. The wolf cub tugs my hand. Look, he says, something is tunnelling through the water towards the whiter force, and Polly clinging for her life to the stuck branch. The chanting grows louder in my head. The ripples wave like ropes of water dragging across the surface of the fish road, bear down on Polly as the branch she is holding onto begins to loosen and wobble, slowly slipping over the edge. Quick, quick, you have to go faster, faster, I yell at them, whatever they are. And then I see them coiling through the water, just visible near the surface now in the night light. Long, dark, twisting lines. Snakes, snakes that swim. Water snakes, says the stag from the bank. He can see the look on my face. Have no fear, they do not bite. I look over at Polly as the branch tumbles over the edge, churning in the white spray. With a little cry, she lets go, scrabbling to grab a rock instead, but her hands can't grip, and the foaming water drives her over the edge of the whiter force. Polly! I shout, even though I know that she can't hear me. I'm running through the water, not caring about being swept away. And a dozen long, thin lines coil out of the fish road, so fast you could easily miss them. And I just catch a flash of yellow eyes in the spear point head before the snakes dive under the water again, over the edge after Polly. Then nothing. I stop, bent over, heaving for breath. They've all gone, the snakes, Polly and Sydney. All that's left to hear is the churning of the whiter force and the sound of my heart. I lost them, but just as I turn back to the stag and the wolf cub, there's a commotion at the end of the edge of the drop. Black lines are appearing in the water again, pulsing strongly against the current, their yellow eyes gleaming as they drag behind them, wrapped tightly in their coils. A small girl who is whimpering and shaking, but alive. Slowly but surely the water snakes pull Polly towards us. The wolf cub and I stumble through the fish road to help, the snakes slithering between our legs as they bring her like a ship into the harbour. Polly is crying softly, and as I take her into my arms, the snakes begin to disappear again. I whip round. Thank you! A single spear point head flips out of the water, looking towards me for a second, the yellow eyes blinking. He says. Then shaking his head, the snake dives deep back into the depths. The chanting fades away to nothing, and the water is calm again, as if they had never been there. I turn back to Polly. Her breathing is shallow, her eyes are half shut. She turns her head stiffly and looks at me. Her voice is very low. You saved me. I feel embarrassed all of a sudden. She needs to rest now. And as if she realises this, she closes her eyes and snuggles up against the stag, also safely back on the shore. We're all back apart from the wolf cub, who is still just standing in the water staring into space. I pick up a tiny pebble and send it splashing behind him to get his attention, but he doesn't even notice. He must be exhausted. I ruffle his head. He glances up at me for less than a second before turning back to stare into the darkness. I shake him again and he pulls away from me, snarling. So quietly I have to strain to hear him. He says, "The cat, you lost the cat." And then, softly at first, it begins to rain.